Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Dugout podcast and our World Cup preview series. This episode is going to be slightly different than the previous preview episodes, which you might have seen on the channel, and that we are going to try and streamline the final four groups, Group I, J, K, and L, into one episode, sort of covering the key stories still, but in a more streamlined fashion as we realise the tournament is fast approaching and there is a lot to get through, especially in these four groups as well. So you could make a case to say there's a contender to go all the way in each group, as we'll get onto. And of course, I'm joined by my usual co-host, Alexander Cruikshanks. Alex, I've not asked you this in a while, but how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm very tired. Because we were up watching the NBA, even though I fell asleep during most of the game. Next, by the way, they might have already won it by the time everyone sees this, but my word, 29-point comeback, insane. But yeah, we're streamlining this because I think we underestimated how long this would take. And we do, believe it or not, we do have lives, so we can't just sit here all day recording episodes that we have done in the past. But it's very difficult to get a day like that. So unfortunately, that's why we are streamlining this one. I mean, I think we've got the group of death coming up, and then we've got three groups that could probably be predicted fairly easily. There's a couple of maybe upsets in there, but yeah, apologies to anyone who was maybe enjoying the more in depth. I've not got a predicted lineup for Iraq and Jordan this time. It's taken too much time, unfortunately. So we're just going to be going over the main talking points.
Yeah, we didn't probably give ourselves enough time, unfortunately. If we'd started the series a wee bit further back, we'd probably been able to finish it. But we will try and give our expert, if you want to call it that, analysis on the groups. And starting with that group that you referenced to, the group of death, Group I, or group of death, maybe three teams. You've got you've got the 2018 world champions and two times winners of the competition, France. You've got the best team, arguably, in European qualifying, and Norway, the most impressive, scored the most goals per
And then
match.
you've got the real champions of Africa.
No, you've not got the real champions of Africa, but you've got the team who did lift the trophy, and in many
No,
people's
they are
eyes,
they're the real champions of Africa.
well, they're not. Morocco are the real champions of Africa. But
No, they're
I do
not.
get your sentiment that Senegal, of course, won that African Cup
They
of Nations
won.
final, and it was taken off them. And the rule changes actually, the IFAB rule changes, which I'm sure everybody's seen by now, actually include that leaving the pitch and sort of refusal to play will result in an automatic forfeit of the match. So Senegal wouldn't have happened had those rules been announced previously. But obviously they weren't at the time,
And it did happen, and the rules weren't enforced. So
yeah,
I find it silly that they've gone back and went, didn't really like that. We're giving it to Morocco.
yeah. I
Sham.
know. If I am looking at it and giving my honest review on it, I completely agree with you. I think. I understand that some of the decisions across the tournament that went Morocco's way were dodgy, to say the least, as a host nation of the tournament, especially that they couple in the final. And yes, Senegal are right to feel sort of grieved by the decisions that went against them, but at the same time, you can't leave the pitch. And
But
obviously,
Morocco, they still got the penalty, and Brian Diaz decided to try and do something stupid, try and have the ultimate aura. Bro scored a Panenka in the Afcon final, and he messed it up. It's not Senegal's fault that
no,
he
it's not. But they opened themselves up to criticism by leaving the pitch, is what I'm saying. But even still, they, in my eyes, deservedly won the match after all of that, and probably should still be African champions. But obviously not. But still a very respected nation coming out of that continent. Of course, you would have to say, based off recent performances, they are the well, the strongest team in Africa, you could say. And obviously, they've got excellent recent records in other AFCON tournaments. I remember them beating Egypt on penalties in the battle between the two Liverpool wingers at the time. And of course, there's a lot of quality across this group. We spoke about Norway, how impressive they were in qualifying after such a long wait without a World Cup tournament. And they've obviously got arguably the best striker in the world. So, yeah.
Yeah, they've got the best attacking midfielder in the world as well. Tilo Asgard.
Thelonious Gerard Asgard, as his full name goes. I wonder how many minutes he will get, but obviously they've got Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard and Antonio Nusa, RB Leipzig, who's looked really good for Norway in qualifying and is a player that I think could be one to have a real breakout tournament. Julian Ryerson's been excellent at fullback, and I think you can expect him to create a lot of chances from right back. And then obviously you've got France, who are a lot of people's favourites to go all the way and win it with the attacking lineup they have. It's hard to really argue against that. You've got the front four, which is going to be of Kylian Mbappe, the Ballon d'Or winner and two times Champions League winner Ousmane Dembele, and Michael Olise, who has had an excellent season at Bayern Munich, even better than he was in his first season in Germany. And arguably, he is, all three of them are probably going to be in the running for the Ballon d'Or, especially if France are to go far in this tournament. And then the other position, you're talking about between Desiree Doué and Ryan Cherki, which is not a bad headache for Didier Deschamps to have. The midfield and defence is still filled with quality players, but I don't think you can really live up to the attacking lineup they have. Do you think France have what it takes sort of to really, I don't know, establish their authority over this tournament in this group? Because it's a perfect opportunity to beat two really solid sides before we get on and discuss Iraq's achievement to be back at the world's biggest stage.
Sorry, what was that question about Iraq?
No, it was about France. It was about. Do you think they have what it takes to really sort of establish that they're as being one of the favourites and really strike fear into all the other teams in the tournament?
Sorry. I thought that's what you were asking, and then you were talking about Iraq, and I got a bit thrown. So, sorry, I'm still.
Yeah, so you should maybe listen a bit better.
Well, I realised. Well, I was trying to fix a mistake I made because I did not see the Martin O'Neill announcement, and I'd scheduled the TikTok video from earlier in the day talking about the delay in the talks, posted it, and now I've just seen he was announced like 6 hours ago. So now I look like a bit of an idiot. So
wouldn't be the first time. I'm only joking. I'm only joking, Alex. Of course. No, yeah, that was announced today. The biggest kept secret in the world that Martin O'Neill will be the new Celtic manager. But anyway, back to international and World Cup discussions. France, you think they have what it takes to really, I don't know, stamp their authority on the tournament in this group against two really threatening sides? And no disrespect to Iraq, of course, but different quality compared to the other sides in the group.
No, yeah, France are ridiculous. You just look at the attacking depth that they have, and you shake, you quiver in your boots. Desiree Doué, Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, Ryan Cherki, Bradley Barcola. I'm sure there's one I'm missing.
Michael Olise.
Oh yeah, Michael Olise. Was Mateta in the France squad?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. For some reason I thought it was. But yeah, they're a very, very good side.
No, you're right. Mateta is in the squad, along with Marcus Thuram and Magnus Akalush of the young Monaco winger. They're the listed attackers. And of course the midfield, as we said, has got quality in it. N'Golo Kante, Adrien Rabiot, Warren Zaire-Emery, who had another excellent season at PSG, Aurelien Tchouameni of Real Madrid, of course, and then in defence, a lot of quality as well. Jules Koundé, Dayo Upamecano, Ibrahima Kanate, William Saliba, Theo Hernandez, of course now playing for Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia, and in goals, Mike Magnan of AC Milan. So I picture these
Mikey
names.
who?
Mike Magnan.
Mignon.
Yeah,
That's a major ready there. No, but they're very good.
a major ready there. I didn't pronounce it well. I do apologise to any French tongued viewers for my
Oh,
half-assed
this is just
pronunciations.
going down now. French tongued viewers. This is just going downhill even further.
What's wrong with French tongued viewers?
Stop, stop saying it. Uh, no, but
What's wrong with that?
it's just it just sounds a bit. It's not like a common phrase, and it just sounds a bit weird. But
Okay, well, whatever you want to make of it.
French speakers, you could have said. Uh, but
Yeah, well,
anyway,
have you ever heard the phrase in native tongue?
yeah,
Yeah.
French tongued, Spanish tongued, English
Right,
tongued.
we get the point.
Uh, no, but yeah, France are really good. I think I could see them top in this group. Norway also very very good. Can I just give my prediction just now? Actually,
Yeah, well, we'll just. I just want to speak about Iraq first, just because we haven't mentioned them. 57 ranked in the world, make their return to the World Cup after 40 years through the Inter-Confederation playoff, I believe it was. We found out earlier. An excellent achievement to get to the tournament, but unfortunately, I find it really difficult to see them getting anything in terms of even a point in this group. Would that be fair to say?
uh, yeah, yeah. I don't think they'll get a point.
Do you think they'll get a
Um,
goal?
yeah, come on, they'll get a goal. They'll get a goal against someone.
I don't know. I don't know.
France will be 7-0 up, and they'll get a wee consolation. But no, fair play to Iraq. I mean, they're there. They're going to try and compete, but unfortunately, I think they've been drawn in the group with the most quality um, in one space in the entire group.
Yeah.
I mean, these three. It's ridiculous that one of these three sides could potentially go out. I don't think they will, because I think they'll be one of the better third place teams. But it's crazy, isn't it? That one of the sides of this sheer quality could actually go out. But yeah, poor Iraq, RIP. We'll see you next time, hopefully.
So there's absolutely. So would you say Iraq have got the least chance of any team in the tournament of getting out of the group, or is that an
Yeah,
exaggeration?
yeah, I'd say so. I mean, if you place them in one of the other groups, I think they'd have more of a shot. Replace them with one of the other poorer teams. Just the fact they're in this group, there's the chance that they get out is infinitesimally small.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And predictions in this group, I think we might
France,
have the same.
France, I'm going for top.
Yeah.
Norway in second. Senegal third. Iraq fourth.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Well, because you slated my predictions in one of the other episodes, in which you said my predictions were, what was it, vanilla predictions? Was it you said? I'm going to go with
What did I
Norway.
say?
You said that my predictions were boring because what was it? What was the group that we predicted? Oh yeah, it was. I said Uruguay would finish second. Uh,
I had the bomb.
yeah, yeah. I think Norway will top the group. I think France will finish in second. I think Senegal will finish in third. But I think ultimately all of them will go through. And I think France have the best chance of going the furthest. But I just think Norway will get the edge over them in the group stages. And unfortunately for Iraq, I don't think they get a single point. And it's an excellent achievement to make it there. And they'll just be hoping that next time around they get a little bit more favourable of a draw. Group J now.
Yeah, J for there are too many groups.
Yeah.
That's not what it stands for, but I just thought it was a good way to forget.
Well, J for Jordan, obviously in this group. Another side that we've spoke about a few now that are making their debut at this tournament.
Jordan and the treble A, they're the odd ones out.
Oh yeah, I've just noticed that there. Of course, joined by, as you said, three teams starting with A: Algeria, Argentina, and Austria. For Jordan, their first. Again, I think it's a similar story to Iraq. That they rarely get to this stage, and just to get to the stage is an achievement in itself. But I think obviously with the group in question, Group J, I think they have a better chance than Iraq. But even still, it's going to be a really tall order to get anything out of this group, you would imagine. Algeria, maybe on the face of it, look like the most realistic chance, but still a very respected side. In Africa, some talented players. Riyad Mahrez, obviously, the one that comes to mind. And then, of course, you've got the reigning world champions, Argentina, who, looking at the face of their squad, are possibly even stronger than they were in that 2022 tournament, although they've lost a few key players since then. For Austria, they were very impressive in qualifying, and they also end a large absence from this tournament. David Alaba, Real Madrid central defender, or as we spoke about, plays for Austria almost everywhere. I don't think he will be at this tournament. He's obviously struggled with injuries pretty much since moving to the Spanish capital, but his first World Cup tournament. So yeah, I think this is another interesting group with quality, but I think one that's probably, looking at the face of it, pretty easy to predict. Would that be fair to say, Alex?
Um, hmm. I'm not so sure.
Okay.
This is another crazy prediction that I've got. This Argentina side haven't changed much. They are older now. So, and I think, especially in like friendlies and stuff, I think teams have been giving them harder games. I mean, Mauritania ran them at the wire a few weeks ago. So I don't know if it's as easy to predict as one might think. I don't know if they're going to storm their way through this group.
Yeah, but that was one game, and since then they've beat Zambia, Honduras, and Iceland, scoring 10 goals without reply. So, and in the World Cup tournament previously, it wasn't like they blew everybody away. It was fine margins. They beat the Netherlands on penalties.
I know. I'm just saying I don't think they're gonna like cruise their way through this group. I'm not.
Well, they,
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying it's not easy to predict. I'm disagreeing with your point. I'm not. Don't worry. I'm not doing a Uruguay. I'm still. I've still got Argentina top of this group, but I don't. I'm just saying I don't think they're going to cruise their way through.
well, yeah, I think I would agree. I don't think they'll cruise their way through, but I think they'll still top the group. And obviously, in the last World Cup, they were very close to the group stage exit after losing that shock opening game to Saudi Arabia. And I believe they were, 30 minutes was it away from elimination when it came to the last game. Obviously, they've got a better chance of going through to the knockout stages with just how the tournament's set up. But I do expect them to sort of warm up and get stronger as the tournament goes on. I think a lot of teams are like that, but I think you will see that with this Argentina team. Lionel Messi, I think, came on the other night to get a goal from the penalty spot, and the most recent friendly. And I think he is still probably going to show that he's one of the very best players in the world, even at his age, and even still playing over in MLS like he did in the 2022 tournament. You've obviously got Julian Alvarez as well, who's been excellent this season. Both Real Madrid and Barcelona have put in bids for the Atleti striker, and then you've got other talents across the squad as well.
Did you see what Atleti came out and said after Real Madrid apparently confirmed there was contact? The Atleti admin came out and was going crazy, saying there was no contact and all that. And now Atleti have come out and said if anyone wants him, they need to pay 500 million euros.
Yeah, his release clause, I believe that is. So, yeah, I don't think they want to sell him. And understandably, so he's an excellent player. We've seen that at Man City, and of course at the last World Cup, he was sort of, you could say, maybe the Robin to the Batman. If Lionel Messi's your Batman, if that's your favourite superhero. But and then what? I don't know. I don't know what I was doing there. I was going on that.
Batman probably is my favourite superhero.
Well, there you go. For Austria, what are we thinking they can achieve in this tournament?
Round of 32.
Okay.
I think they will progress out of this group. Austria have been one that I think have been very hot and cold for a number of years. They have some decent players. I mean, it's the last dance for David Alaba, I believe. So yeah, I think he'll have a bit between his teeth to do something in this tournament. I mean, they've got some good players as well. Although I will not be staying up till 5 a.m. to watch them versus Jordan.
I will be. Well, not I won't be, but I will be watching it probably.
It doesn't count.
Yeah.
We've obviously got some good players as well, like really good defenders actually. Stefan Posch, Lionheart, which is the coolest name ever. Konrad Lehmer. Obviously, Marko Arnautovic still playing for the national team. Marcel Sabitzer. Michael or Michael, depending on how you pronounce it. Gregorich, depending on how you pronounce it. Given all the names. Xaver Schlager as well. They've got good depth. Obviously, they've got Danso. One that I didn't actually know he'd decided to play for Austria until very recently was Carney Chukwuemeka, which was interesting because I think he's actually, he's English born, isn't he? Came through the Chelsea academy, or he might have been born in Austria and moved to England. I don't know, but I knew him as English, and then
English Youth International. Chukwuemeka, so yeah, it has been a recent switch. 3 appearances, 1 goal for Austria, all in friendlies. So it'll be interesting to see what part he does have to play in this. And you pointed out, sorry, with David Alaba, sort of the last dance. There's a lot of that squad that is a very older and experienced squad throughout when you look from the goalkeeper even to Marko Arnautovic, who led the team in scoring in the
They've still not got the oldest player in the tournament, though. That honour falls to us.
Yeah, of course, with Craig Gordon. But I think they've got a lot of experience. They've got a lot of know-how in European football, especially. Of course, at World Cups, though, no experience. None of them have been to a World Cup. So that's going to be the interesting thing to see how they adapt to the climate. But you could make that sort of question mark or asterisk for every team in the tournament, especially the European ones, obviously. So I think Austria can do well. I think they were good in qualifying. They obviously topped their group. Ralf Ragnick's done well as the head coach. So I think Austria can go far in this tournament. but I don't expect him to really top
Yeah.
this group. I think Argentina will top the group, but I think Austria will be behind them in second.
Sorry, I've got some good feel good news. Some everyone's probably already seen it by this point, but obviously Somali referee Omar Artan was denied entry into the States. The UEFA selected referee to officiate the World Cup. I believe he's been given a few games to officiate in Canada, which is good. He's also been uh, given the Super Cup final between PSG and Aston Villa. So at least he's getting to referee some high profile matches because that was really, really poor. And I regret to say it because I'm excited for the football, Ethan, but there's been so many horrible things happening over the past week, leading up to the tournament, and we've not even kicked off yet.
Yeah, and you just hope that for all these things, the sort of worst of it's behind us. Obviously, you can't really make amends for what's went wrong. I think I seen a journalist questioning Gianni Infantino about it yesterday. I think it was about how many things have really went wrong and are just not a good look for what football and what the World Cup inspires to be all about bringing all the nations together. And it's just, in a lot of scenarios, it's just not been that. And there's been headlines and stories that have been distracting from that. And, unfortunately, it was kind of sort of maybe expected. Sort of when the tournament was, you could see it coming on the horizon that stuff like this was going to happen, unfortunately. But no, it is a really nice story that I seen that earlier that he's going to be referee. It looks like he's going to be refereeing the UEFA Super Cup final. So obviously, it doesn't really solve the issue of him not getting to referee any games in the States and all the sort of allegations that went in his direction. And yeah, I've got to say, Infantino's comments weren't really convincing or inspiring as to that there's going to be change
He doesn't.
for football in the coming years.
He doesn't care as long right. He allegedly doesn't care as long as allegedly money's going into his pocket. There I go, covering my own back there. But yeah, it's just poor. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that because that was a good bit of good news that I saw there. Algeria, uh, top team, top African team, have been for a few years. Obviously, probably one of the most well known. Maybe the greatest, if not one of the greatest, Algerian players of all time, Riyad Mahrez, is probably. There might have been someone before mine and Ethan's time, so if there are any older viewers in the comments, please enlighten us. But for me, certainly, I think he's the best Algerian footballer I've ever seen that actually played for Algeria. Because I think Zinedine Zidane and Karim Benzema were also of Algerian descent. But
Yeah, well, of course, Zidane's son's in the squad, is he not, Luca?
yeah,
The goalkeeper for Granada. So yeah, they've got some talent across this squad, and I've seen a lot of people. Well, I think almost every team, apart from the teams like your Jordans and Iraqs, which we spoke about, um, that that you can make a case for being a sort of dark horse, so to say, because they have got talented players. Issa Mandi, Ryan Nouri, Rami Ben Sabaini. Who else is there in midfield? They've got Chaibi.
Badawi of
Yeah,
Nice,
yeah,
Nabil Bentaleb as well. Obviously, you've got Mohamed Amoura up top, plays for Wolfsburg, 8 goals and 3 assists in the Bundesliga this season. So
I
they're
think he
not.
led. I think he done really well in qualifying, if I'm not mistaken, as well. I'll get his stats up. Let me see.
Hussein Awar, field wonder kid, obviously at Al Ittihad now.
Yeah.
Uh, um,
Yeah, listen to these stats. Sorry, Alex. for
Yeah,
Amura.
I've got Amin Guiri as well,
Yeah,
who is from Marseille.
yeah, they have got talent across the squad, and for Mohamed Amoura, I think out with the big name of Riyad Mahrez, he's probably the danger man. 7 starts in qualifying, 10 appearances in total, 10 goals and 4 assists in those 10 appearances. So very impressive for the qualifying campaign for him, and I think he's going to be the one of the players that you need to watch out for in that Algeria side. And yeah, for Jordan, I think we spoke on it at the start of this group. It's going to be really difficult for them to get any points. I've seen the players wheeling in their suitcases. Some of them having up to 5 suitcases for the tournament. I don't know if they're going to need all 5 of those suitcases, but this is what the World Cup's about. But again, I think it's a really tall order for them to get even a point in this group. But they're there for a reason. They've earned their place at this tournament, and I wish them all the best of luck. But I really can't see them challenging either. Well, it's not either. Sorry, any of the sides in
I
this
hope he
group.
does all right. Jordan's a good guy, man. That was great.
No, that was
Uh,
poor. Right, prediction time.
okay, so top of this group, I'm gonna go Argentina, and second, I'm going to go for Algeria. Uh, and third, I'm gonna go for Austria. Sorry, I just think the retirement home's calling. So, although I think there's a chance they will progress out as a better third place team, and then last, unfortunately, I'm going to go for Jordan. However, I'm going to back them to get a point in this group.
Oh, there we go. There's an interesting shout. I expect the world champions to top the group. I expect the Europeans to follow them. I think Austria will have enough to claim second. I think Algeria will finish as a solid third place team, possibly enough to get them through to the next round. And unfortunately, I think Jordan, like Iraq, that have gone before them in the previous group, will slumped to no points. But then again, as we've spoke about, predictions are never what everyone thinks to happen, and I think that is probably what everyone thinks is going to happen, apart from Alex, who's went against the
I just
the
like to make it
majority.
different.
Yeah, no, fair enough. You've got to do something because it's not going, as we said, it's not all going to go to plan.
They're boring predictions.
What about the
Even
last group?
well, even that's not that exciting. Loads of people are predicting Norway to finish above France because
Are they? I haven't
they're,
seen them. I haven't
they're
seen
the
them.
dark horses. They're the dark horses of the tournament. Ah,
Well,
blah, blah.
yeah, they are a dark. How are they not a dark? They are a dark horse.
It's the full hipster football opinion. Nah, Norway are rubbish, man. Anyone who can get beaten off a long ball gets laid off to Kerry McLean are rubbish.
That was
But
like 4 years. No, that was like 3 years ago.
yeah,
Okay,
so
well, I think they've got better since then, and I think they will cause problems for a lot of teams at this tournament. That's my prediction on them. But anyway,
we'll get drawn against them in the knockouts at some point. We'll beat them again. Um,
hopefully.
but yeah, no. Sorry, your predictions are pretty boring. I'll say.
Okay, well, you can't really. I'm not just going to predict stuff for the sake of it. I'm predicting what I think is going to happen. And how is that? But that's not. How is that even boring? Hold on a minute.
Rage baited.
Austria are 4 world rankings below Algeria. 4.
Uh-huh.
So that's not really like.
Yeah, but we've spoke about the world rankings don't matter, and also people are just going to automatically pick the European teams because there's European bias. So
No. I think I've shown in other predictions that there's not a European bias coming from me. But anyway, we'll move on to the next 2 groups. Moving on to Group K, and this is an interesting one, a little bit of a different dynamic, I would say, to the previous 2 groups we spoke about today. in which I think there's two clear dominant sides in this group. Would you agree with that, Alex?
Yes, I would agree with this one. Portugal and Uzbekistan. Uh, no, Portugal and Colombia, obviously the clear dominant sides. I mean, Uzbekistan had a good qualifying campaign. So did the DR Congo, obviously. A bit of an affinity for us with the DR Congo. I think there's a couple of SPFL lads in there. So we're hoping that they make a good.
Is there? I don't know if there is any anymore.
Did they not get called up?
Well, um, Michel Ange Balikwisha didn't get called up. Rocky Bashiri's injured, which meant he didn't get called up. And now Aaron Tishbola, who was called up, is leaving Kilmarnock, or has left Kilmarnock. So
Oh, did he? I didn't see that.
yeah, I,
What?
I just I don't think I don't know if he's left Kilmarnock yet, but he's not got a contract at Kilmarnock for next season. I think he is going to go elsewhere after an excellent season.
He loves a bit
Um,
of cash, Aaron Tishbola.
who
But
doesn't, in fairness?
yeah, but anyway, apart from that blunder, yeah, I think that the two clearest teams and Portugal for me have the best midfield in the entire tournament. Um, I think very closely followed by Spain. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think we should. Do you think it would be interesting to maybe pick our Portugal teams?
Oh gosh, I need to pull up the squad here.
Right, I'll go with my squad, my team then, saying as I've got, I know what I would go with, and I think it'll be
what
what.
formation are they deploying in
Um,
these?
Uh, I don't know. I'm not too sure. But if I was to be the Portugal manager, and obviously Roberto Martinez is, my team would be Diogo Costa in goals, back four of Nuno Mendes or Nuno Mendes, who's not played the most minutes in the recent friendlies, so there's a little bit of doubt over whether he's fully fit to start the first game. The two central defenders will most likely be.
Portugal, another team with four goalkeepers for some reason.
Yeah, I really don't understand that. Obviously, Saudi Arabia with the other side that that had it, and I think there might be another team as well. I want to say, but um, yeah, really strange that. But I think Diogo Costa will be the goalkeeper. I think it'll be. It's Gonçalo, is it? Yeah, Gonçalo and Asio, who'll be the central defender, joining Ruben Diaz. Right back will be most likely João Cancelo. And then I think you have to play all four of the midfielders, João Neves, Vitinha, Bernardo Silva, and Bruno Fernandes, or Bruno Fernandes. And then I think there's no getting away from it. Whether you want him to start, you think he's the best player to start for Portugal, and you think he has the best effect, or not on the squad and their chances of winning it. Cristiano Ronaldo is going to start up front for Portugal. So I think if I was accepting that, then he would start up front in front of that midfield four. And alongside him, I think you made the point possibly in one of the earlier episodes when we referenced to Portugal about João Felix's performances, and I think he may be in with a chance of starting, but I'm unsure because there's just so much of talent, especially in the midfield area, that it's sometimes difficult, I think, for Roberto Martinez to fit them all in, especially when he probably feels he needs to start Cristiano Ronaldo up top.
Yeah, this is mark the date down. I agree 100% with your with your picks. Mark the date. Ring the bells. This is the day. Me and Ethan agree. Yeah, I'd probably say who I'd want starting sort of off of Ronaldo. I think Felix is a good shout. I think Rafa Leao could be in with a good shout as well. Although he did lose his temper a little bit against Chile in the recent friendly. But yeah, Ethan, I'd I agree with your team there. I was just looking through. I think the defence sort of picks itself. I mean, Cancelo with the sort of national team pedigree. I would maybe argue that Diogo Dalot's had the better season, but I don't think he can dislodge. What? He's been very good.
Cancelo's a better player than Dallo, though.
He is. I just wait. Hold on a second here.
No, and Cancelo had a good season, especially the second half at Barca. He was good.
Yeah, but Dallo was good as well in a harder league. So um,
Okay.
I'm still think Cancelo would start. I'm just adding, so it's not boring. I'm
Right.
just adding
Right.
conversation.
Okay. No, I get you,
I
but
don't like it. I don't like this. You always scoff at me whenever I bring anything up that's not 100% in line with your views.
yeah, that's it. No, I'm only joking. No, it's a good point to make. They do have depth in some of the areas in defence, right back, especially, of course, with
I don't
Dallo, who
like Nelson Semedo's there. What is
I
Nelson
know,
Semedo doing in this squad, man?
I know. He's obviously been called up for loads of tournaments now, getting on a little bit. And I think the only other maybe contentious one in central defence is whether Renato Vega
Yeah.
would come in instead of Inacio, but I think it will be Inacio who starts alongside Diaz. And then maybe there will be slight rotation. We've not really touched on this for all the teams, but with how long the tournament it could possibly be with the extra knockout round, and I think it would be wise for coaches to rotate their players and if they can afford to, especially with Portugal. You expect, especially in those first two games, that they're going to win both of them and then maybe leave their sort of best side to play in that game against Colombia, which you would imagine will maybe decide who wins this group.
Yeah. Um, I think this group for me is pretty cut and dry, though. Um, I think no, this Portugal team and its quality is unstoppable. I've actually got them. I think I've got them as maybe not a dark horse because they're very good, but someone maybe people aren't talking about who can make it to the final. Because
Well,
obviously,
I actually think I've said that I think Portugal will win it, but I have my doubts over the. I think
the
there's a
goat,
problem
the
at.
goat will finally get his World Cup.
I think there's a problem at Portugal though, and the problem is unfortunately Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he is too. I don't know. He just. I feel like when it comes down to it, and he needs to make a decision to benefit the team. I just don't think he's got the capacity to do it. I think he's delusional, and the fact that he thinks he should start and play every minute of this tournament when he's far from the player that he once was. And it's unfortunate to see because obviously you know the mentality he has. He wants to play every minute and help his team, but I think sometimes helping his team maybe with him sitting on the bench, and I don't know if that's going to work and that sort of atmosphere really helps the rest of the squad. But
Scored 30 goals in the Saudi League this season. So, like, I mean,
but
obviously,
yes, I think yes, I know that. But do you think that Ronaldo expecting to play every minute, expecting to take free kicks, corners, not corners, sorry, free kicks, penalties, is the best for Portugal?
yeah, there's no one better at penalties. There's maybe
Okay,
someone better. Maybe someone better at free kicks. Like his free
yeah.
kicks have
Did
dropped
you
off.
think Ronaldo should be playing 90 minutes in every game as well?
Yeah,
At
physical spec.
41?
Yeah, is he 41? Oh my god.
No, I just don't think he should be. I don't think that's the best. That's going to give Portugal the best chance of winning. But that being said, I think they have an excellent midfield, and midfield is arguably the most important part of the pitch. So, yeah, I think they have a chance. But I think Colombia will cause them problems. I think Colombia are a really solid team. Looking at some of the players that they've got in defence, Johan Majica, Davinson Sanchez, John Lukumi, and um, and Daniel Munoz, obviously of Crystal Palace. Midfield, they've got Richard Rios, James Rodriguez, who's I think still, of course, I think the baton's been passed on a little bit to obviously Luis Diaz, who's the main threat for Colombia. But I think James Rodriguez is still going to have a massive part to play for this squad, even at the age of 34, playing for Minnesota United. They've got Jefferson Lerma. They've got
Yeah,
John.
Luis Suarez didn't get called up to Uruguay, so he just jumped over to Colombia.
Yeah, he's had an absolutely excellent season. Obviously at Sporting CP, as the signed as the Victor Gyökeres replacement, really, and of course
I
he's
think Sport and CP have just shown they've got a really good system where if you put any half decent striker in, he'll score boatloads of goals.
yeah, exactly that. He was excellent this season. And he was no, this was his first season. Yeah, Gyökeres signed this season. The season's been so long. I felt like it was 2 seasons, but no, he comes in for the replacement of Gyökeres and makes an instant impact.
I know what you mean. I saw a clip the other day. For some reason, it just popped up randomly on my feed, and it was Ange Postecoglou at Nottingham Forest, and I'm thinking, what the hell? That feels like ages ago. It was from like November 2025 or something. It's been
Yeah,
so long, man.
yeah, and it is. It's just the amount. I think it's the sheer amount of games that are being played, and of course an increase in this tournament, which I just referenced to there. John Arias obviously had a really unsuccessful time at Wolves in the Premier League, but has since went to Palmeiras and been okay. Certainly been better than what he was, and I think he could be a real big player for Colombia. Obviously, Luis Diaz is the main man, though, as I said, and I think he's really stepped up his game since going to Bayern Munich and has became the finished article, which I think Liverpool always wanted him to be. And Vincent Kompany's really got it out of him, and an excellent front three, obviously. Joining Elise and Harry Kane, which we spoke about one of them already in this episode, and we'll get on to the other shortly.
Another
So,
one, not sorry, another player that's been cutting about for a few years is Juan Fernando Quintero as well.
yeah, I
Didn't really.
remember he scored a. Was it? It was him that scored. Yeah, it was that scored the free kick against Japan. Was it at the? Was that the last World Cup? Yeah, it must have been the last World Cup. So yeah, they've got a good mix of experience and sort of young players coming through. I think Colombia have potential to go really far in this tournament. Um, I think they're an excellent team, a free scoring team. They do try and prioritise defending, which I think a lot of the South American nations as will see set
Well,
up like that.
that's South American football. I mean,
Yeah,
my dad would tell me about the old school South American defenders who would do anything. They'd elbow you, they'd pinch you, they'd pull your hair, they'd bite you, they'd do anything to sort of get in your head.
yeah,
Hard, dirty, old school sort of defending teams, and although you don't get away with a lot of that, well, any of that anymore, these guys are still. A lot of these teams are still streetwise. They're still hard defenders. They're still really good at what they do. I mean, we spoke about Ecuador, um, a really good defensive unit. So, yeah, that could be. We love to see attacking football. We love to see, beautiful play, but the dirty side of football is often as effective. So yeah, that there could be an opportunity for some of these teams who are really solid in the back and streetwise to make impacts
yeah.
across.
Certainly could be. And I think the only team maybe coming, obviously coming from me, which is not a South American football expert by any means, but the only team that I think maybe doesn't fit into that mold is obviously Brazil, who have never really fit into that mold. But even the likes of Argentina, you associate with
You
a
know,
really sort of strong defensive unit.
Brazil had some hard defenders back in the day.
No, they did, but they've always sort of had the flying fullbacks sort of thing. The attack comes first, and we can worry about the defending later. When you think of Marcelo, Dani Alves, Roberto Carlos, Cafu, what a group of fullbacks that is, by the way. So yeah, I
Well,
think
they've not got anything on Anthony Ralston.
yeah, or Andrew Robertson or Aaron Hickey.
Now we're getting close to the tournament. I'm going to try and be nice to Ralston because he was part of the Scotland squad.
Yeah, Andy's performances for Scotland recently have been better than what they were in that game or maybe the European Championships as a whole, which
That's
obviously wasn't great.
that's deserved answer, Kiri.
Yeah, as you've said on this podcast about 100 times, you keep reminding us. But no, for the other two sides in this group, what are we thinking? Obviously, again,
I'd
very
quite fancy Uzbekistan to finish third.
really.
Yeah,
I disagree. I think DR Congo will get the better of them in Nick third, but I do think it'll be a struggle for either of these teams to make the knockout stage. To be honest,
yeah, no, 100%. But Uzbekistan finished second in their qualifying group in the AFC. Only 2 points behind Iran. They've obviously got some. They've got some decent players. Obviously, a few you've never heard of, but you will have heard of Kusanov at Manchester City. You might have heard of Shomurodov as well. I think previously of Roma.
yeah.
Uh, so the some players you don't you maybe haven't heard of, but some that you no wait no he's Azar is he am I
Who?
getting him confused with someone?
Who?
Shamur
Eldar Shomurodov? No, he's Uzbekistan.
Shamurodov Roma. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you were
Um
right.
I thought I was getting him confused with someone there. But yeah, no. I think I don't know. Like I said, I like to go against the grain, and they had a strong qualifying campaign, so I'd fancy Uzbekistan to make it out this group. Not
Fair
make it out,
enough.
not make it out. Finish third.
Yeah,
Do not make it out.
yeah, fair enough. But I do prefer Congo's chances of finishing third. I just think they've got the better quality players, or more quality players across the squad. Noah Siddiqui, excellent season at Sunderland, at 21. I think he'll have a real breakthrough tournament, so to say. I think they've got Johan Wissa, who's obviously not really had the opportunity too much at Newcastle this season, but an excellent player when he was at Brentford. They've got the veteran striker Cedric Bakambu, still at Real Betis now. 3 seasons he spent there. Obviously, formerly of Villarreal, which I think he's most known for in his career. And they've got some other exciting players as well. Aaron Tishbola, who I thought he's been absolutely excellent for Kilmarnock since he's returned. So, congratulations for him for the call up. And then they've got a few old and current Premier League defenders in the back: Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Axel Tuanzebe, and Arthur Masuaku. So yeah, I just think they'll have the edge over.
I thought you were going to say Arthur Boric there. And I was like, is he back playing football for the DR Congo? What's going on here?
No, not quite, but I think that'll be a close game, and obviously I think that's got to be the aspirations for these sides when they get to the tournament, is to identify a team that they have a realistic chance of beating and go for it and take advantage of that. And I think that's
That's
what
what
they
Scotland
do.
should be doing this weekend.
Yes, and that's the thing that's unfortunate for these two sides, is that comes at the end. So, but also that it probably sets up a shootout between Portugal and Colombia, which could be quite exciting, I think. And moving on to the final group, are we ready to?
Oh, we're not giving the
Oh,
prediction.
I thought we. Oh no, we didn't really give the predictions. Okay, I'll go my
I think
prediction.
people can guess. Portugal, Colombia, Uzbekistan, DR Congo. That's what I'm going
Okay, I'm
for.
going to go completely different to you. Colombia, Portugal,
Whoa!
DR Congo, Uzbekistan.
He's not boring after all.
He's not
He
boring at all.
after all.
I think
What?
Colombia. Can I call Colombia a dark horse? I think they're a dark horse.
Yeah, no, I was saying you weren't boring. I'm saying he's not boring after all. He's not boring after all.
Okay, well, I might be boring in my prediction of this group though. Group L. Can't believe we've got to the letter L when we're talking about groups in a tournament, but here we are, the
Can I
biggest
just
ever
start?
World Cup.
Can I just start off by saying Group L? Very fitting that England are in the group named L. They are finishing bottom of this group. They're going out. See you next
No,
Tuesday.
they're not, Alex. We know fine well they're not. Although what I did say the other day is that no foreign manager managing a country has ever won the World Cup. So all the managers to win the World Cup
Oh,
have been
that bodes well for us. Come on, Steve Clark. Oh my God, Scotland World Champions 2026.
possibly.
Did you see
But it
McTominay's a doubt? We're cooked.
no, he's not.
Yes.
Has he? No, I didn't see that.
Yes.
I'm sure he'll be
Yes.
okay. It's just mind games. Steve Clark's mind games.
Oh yeah, he pulled out the friendly and now he's saying McTominay's sick. Oh, he's getting in everybody's head, man.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Anyway, going into this group, we'll start with the one-time World Cup winners, which of course is Scots could never forget, as we're reminded of every year. Really, I was going to say every World Cup, but just every year in general. Uh, England, what do we think of the squad selection? Obviously, a few big names that Thomas Tuchel's left out, and it looks to be a very interesting approach that he's going to go for. Maybe sort of the traditional you would associate with sort of British football in terms of the ugly side of the game, and sometimes, as we've seen this season, obviously with Arsenal is the perfect example, and they could be a big core to the starting 11 that sometimes works, especially in the Premier League, but is it going to work on a world stage, Alex?
I don't know. Obviously, Thomas Tuchel's chosen guys he thinks will work for his system. He's
Yeah,
not just like the best individuals. I think there are some strange ones, like obviously Jordan Henderson for some.
Dan Burn,
Yeah, Dan Burn as well.
second choice Newcastle left back, and didn't select the first choice one, and Lewis Hall.
Yeah, um, but I think it's kind of crazy that Morgan Gibbs White misses out.
Yeah.
I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin should have been in over Ollie Watkins.
No,
Um,
I disagree with that.
that's fine. Um, so yeah, some strange selections, but I mean Harry Maguire should have been in there as well. He's just come off the back of a really good season. Harry Maguire's redemption's been crazy. He went from being like the laughing stock of world football to just being consistently one of the most solid defenders in the world year after year. Um, but I think this is still a what?
No, I don't know. I was just, I don't know. Your word in there was I think a little bit too generous to Harry Maguire.
Why? I didn't say he was the best. I said he was
No.
just solid.
Yeah, no, okay, that's fine. But no, okay, no, never mind. No, I agree with you. He has had a redemption, and I think he's really unfortunate. I would have had him starting. I think he's always been excellent for England. I think, and it was one that certainly surprised me. But sorry to cut you off. What we say?
Yeah, no, but I think the squad is still obviously very good.
Yeah,
This is a fun one for me though. With the start, can I do my? I
yeah,
wanted to.
right. And goals, I think picks itself. Another excellent performer for
Jordan
the national team.
Jordan Pickford's itself.
Oh no, that's terrible. Yeah, Jordan Pickford. I think he will be the starting
although
goalkeeper, and rightfully
although
so.
based on performances, I think if you were basing like obviously Jordan Pickford's the England keeper nailed on number one, but if you were basing it off like performances, you could argue James Trafford was in with a shout. I think he's been very good for Manchester City this season. But yeah, obviously it is Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that, and I think unfortunately for Trafford, just not maybe enough games across the whole of the season. When of course the best goalkeeper in the world at the time, you could say Gianluigi Donnarumma comes in and takes the number one spot off him. Yeah, so John Pickford, left back,
Jed Spence.
Jed Spence.
Yeah, who's the other left back?
Jed Spence starting. I can't
Yeah,
believe Jed Spence was in the squad and you've got him starting.
who would you pick over him?
Nico
Dan Burn.
O'Reilly.
Oh, whoops! Forgot Nico O'Reilly was there. Yeah, I'd have Nico O'Reilly and the starting over him.
Right, now I think this is the interesting one. Central defenders, who are you going for?
Um, I think I'm going to go for John Stones and Mark Gahey.
I'm going to go with Mark Gahey and Ezri Konsa as my back two, I
I
think.
think he could take Stones if he wasn't going to start him. Because
That
I
is a
don't think
really good. That is a really good point to make.
I
But
don't
he's
think
also experienced in
Stones,
and around the squad.
yeah, but I don't think Stones has been like amazing. He's been good again. Like he's a very
Well,
good player.
he's barely played for Man City this season, but
Yeah, but he's. I know that's what I'm saying. though. I don't think he would have taken John Stones
yeah.
if he wasn't start
But then
him.
again, he's taking Jordan Henderson, and no one expects him to start. So,
Yeah, but
like,
that's different. John Stones can still actually play. He's not like, and he's not walking about the training ground with a Zimmer. You know,
he's not got a pack of cards. John
yeah,
Stones,
he's
as
he's
Roy Keane famously
he's
said.
walking about the training ground with a wee tin going, "Do you want a sweetie?" You know, he's he's the granddad of the national team, Jordan Henderson.
No, that's a fair shout. At right back,
Probably Reece James if he's
yeah,
fit.
yeah, I think in.
Reece
Um,
James is one I think doesn't get enough credit because genuinely, when he's fit, which isn't very often, but
well,
when he's one of the best right backs in the world. He's ridiculously good, and
yeah, no,
if he managed to stay fit, he would he'd be up there as one of the best right backs we've seen. I think in the Premier League.
yeah, well, I completely agree with that. And this season was nice to see that he did stay a little bit more consistent. And obviously out of his hands, you would say, with the injuries, but he avoided a lot of them this season and played 44 games, which is the second most he's played in a season. So, yeah, I think he's going into the tournament in really fine form. And if he's fit, I think he will be the starting right back because he's the best player they've got in that position. Obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold misses out, which was another controversial one by Tuchel. And then are we going for a midfield sort of three?
I had it down as a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, well, a midfield three then, yeah.
All right, Mister Pedantic.
Well, it's a midfield. That's still a midfield three, isn't it? It's just a variation.
Yeah, okay, fine. I've got Elliot Anderson, Declan Rice, and Jude Bellingham in the 10.
Yes, I think that should be the team, but obviously there's doubts over whether Jude Bellingham's going to start. Some people thinking that Morgan Rogers might start in that
I've got
position.
Morgan Rogers in my team, but not there.
Not there. That's fair enough. But I think Declan Rice obviously got to start, and I think Elliot Anderson, who slipped away, he was in Scotland's hands. Obviously got called up, went to a camp, never played, left, and now obviously starting for England. What could have been?
He just took one look at those guys and went, I'm better than these guys. I could play for England.
Quite possibly, but he's been excellent this season, obviously for Nottingham Forest, and I think he's the excellent sort of partner to Declan Rice. They've always been looking for that sort of eight to sit alongside Rice that's really at that level. I think Kobe Menu was decent at the last international tournament, and he's obviously in the squad as well. But I think Anderson, the best player for that role. And then I think it should be Jude Bellingham, but as I said, it could be Morgan Rogers or maybe even Eze if he plays narrow. And then in terms of your sort of front three or your wide midfielders, whatever
This is
way
where,
you want
this
to
is where
put it.
I started doing a bit of shoehorning because I wanted to put Morgan Rogers in, but the other guy I've got in can only really play off the left. So I've put Morgan Rogers on the right hand side because I would want him to play. I've got Rashford on the left, and I've got Harry Kane up top.
Sorry, but repeat that. I missed. I seen Rashford. I heard Rashford on the left and Harry Kane up top.
Morgan Rogers on the right hand side.
Morgan Rogers on the right, of course. Yeah. Uh, what do I think to that? Right. Okay. Well, I think Bukayo Saka's got to start. I know he's not had any.
Rubbish. He's been rubbish all season. He's just
But
part of
it's
a
not.
good
But as
system.
we know, it's not about.
Not a big game player. He's not a world class player. He's fine. He's fine. But he's rubbish. I'm sick of this. The Saka hype. He's not a better player than than Rodgers. He's not better than Rashford.
He was England's best player at the last tournament.
He's probably closer to Noni Madueke
He
than
was England's best player at the last tournament.
Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon's probably.
What? Sorry, you cut out there. He was England's. Do you not agree that he was England's best
He
player at the last
was.
European
He's been
Championship?
rubbish. He's been rubbish for 2 years since.
No, he wasn't rubbish last year.
Yes, he was.
He had 12 goals and 13 assists.
Yeah, rubbish. He's supposed to be world
Rubbish.
class.
No, I think I would start Bukayo Saka on the right, Marcus Rashford on the left, and Harry Kane down the middle. That would be my team. I think they're the.
Harry Kane, top scorer in the tournament.
Is that your prediction?
I'm going Scott McTominay.
Right, okay.
No, but no, I feel like that could happen. I was going to put Saka in, but then I just thought, nah, he's rubbish. He's not. He can't take a man on. He can't use his right foot. His shooting ability rubbish. I don't think he's particularly strong. I just think he's kind of fast, and he's got a good eye for a pass. That's about it.
He's not that fast.
I know he's not that fast. I said kind of fast. See, he's not. He's not even got that. He's not even rapid.
Right, but he puts an excellent ball into the box, and he's good on set pieces.
Noni Madueke, clear.
No, we're not even entertaining that. We're going to move on to the other European side in this group, which is, of course,
Croatia.
Yeah, Croatia. The recent overperformers on the biggest stage, of course, World Cup finals, World Cup semi-finals, and of course they have got a lot of the core of the squad in the last tournament that was defeated by the eventual champions in the semi-final, but their main player now getting on to.
We've been talking about retirement homes. Holy, this is an old boys team.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we're obviously Luka Modric is the main player in this team at 40. I still think he's their best player. And is that going to be enough for Croatia? I'm not sure because Luka Modric has been able, since going to AC Milan, he's showed his class. He's turned it on and showed that why he's one of the greatest midfielders of all time.
They're so ancient, man. You got Modric at 40. You've got Mateo Kovacic 32, Perisic 37.
32 is not that old.
Kramaric 34, bloody Budimir 34. They're all walking about with zimmers.
Perisic at 37.
I said that already.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
Yeah, mate. Learn to listen, will you?
Sorry.
But no, yeah, I agree with your point there. Sorry for cutting you off, but yeah, look at Modric. Form is temporary, but class is permanent. And he just is world class. He's one of the best midfielders of all time for me. I actually would have him in my all-time 11. Just ridiculous.
Yeah, I respect that. I can't really argue with it. I don't know if I would, but he's certainly in and around that, and
He's
probably the best. He's still the best. Obviously, maybe not at his age now, but in terms of the midfielders at the tournament, all being at their best, he's the best at this tournament. And
come up against a team that can run, though. I think they might be good.
Yeah, but remember, we said that about Luka Modric when Scotland played,
and he scored.
And that was 5 years ago, and he's still playing at the top level in Serie A. So I think he's shown that. Yeah, he did. It was a Trivela, a trademark of his.
It was an insane goal. I remember I was at my mate's, back garden, and we scored. I think we were 2-0 down. We scored, and we were like, yeah. and then that was just like the dagger, man, just
Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah.
Uh,
They've also
oh,
got some sort of newer players to the squad, you could say. Obviously, they've been there for a while now, but less sort of experience. The old the same as the older ones. They've got Luka Vuskovic. I think he's on loan at Hamburger
he
from
scored like 6 goals this season.
yeah,
He's a centre back.
yeah, on
He's,
loan from
he's
Spurs.
on.
I'm pretty sure he is.
No, he is. Yeah, I can 100% confirm that because at the start of the season, I did a Hamburg career mode and he was class. I ended up signing him on a permanent and he turned into like an 88 rated centre half. I can see why he scored so many goals though. Very good from corners, very good in the air.
Yeah,
He scored a lot of goals from corners for me. So yeah, I think I've referenced FIFA every episode, but
yeah. Well, it's a good. Don't know. It helps with your football knowledge, doesn't it? Obviously, you've got Josko Guardiola.
I know about some random players I would have never known about if I hadn't like plucked these random teams out of thin air to like use in a career mode or you know went through the free agents and found my boy Deroy Duarte. So yeah,
Yeah, and I was just going to say they've still got the most expensive defender in history. Is that correct? In Guardiola. Um,
yeah,
yeah, so they've got quality, but it's just whether they've got the legs. I think, especially for England, who I think we've seen that Tuchel's went for the sort of more physical approach than selecting the best technical players. And I can see why he's done that because picking the best players has never worked for England since, of course, they did win the World Cup. So trying to maybe a different strategy might be the one that works. Hopefully not. And then, of course, the other two sides in this group are Ghana, who surprisingly, I think, was it? Who was the other side? Was it Cape Verde? I think it was that missed out on the AFCON but qualified to the World Cup. Obviously, Ghana have got a talisman, who you could say. He hasn't really, I don't think, played too many times for the national team, but I think you would identify him as their standout player. Antoine Semenyo, who has had an excellent season at Bournemouth and then on to Man City. Of course, Ghana have the likes of Inaki Williams, Ernest Nuama of Lyon. They've got Jordan Ayew. No, none of the other Ayew brother. So
I'm sorry, don't know why I'm doing that.
um, yeah, so they've only got one of the Ayew brothers. That's a little bit
Unfortunately,
unfortunate.
but I think one IU will be enough to go out in the groups. Um,
Yeah, well, that might be a harsh prediction, I think. I think they've got a chance, especially with what we just spoke about with Croatia. And I don't know, I just think Ghana are stronger than Panama looking at the face of both squads.
well, I
And,
think they are stronger than Panama, but I don't know if they'll get out as one of the best third place teams.
well, they might get second, though, is what I'm thinking.
Oh my word! Of course they have the incredible Antoine Semenyo playing for them as well.
Yeah. No, you know what? I'm gonna go with it. Should we just give our predictions on this group?
I'm going England, Panama, Ghana, England, Croatia, Ghana, Panama. I'm going
Yeah, I'll go
for.
with the same. I know I sort of threatened to go with Croatia, going drop them to third, but I think they will finish in the top two. Like unlike what they failed obviously to do that at the last European Championships. They fell at the final hurdle with that late Italy goal to knock them out, if I remember correctly. But I think they'll get the job done this time and they'll be through to the next round. Although I don't see them going too far. I don't see England going too far either, to be quite honest.
Oh, big call.
No, I think they can get to the quarterfinals or something, but compared to recent campaigns, I don't think they've
Compared
got
to
it in them.
compared to Scotland, they've got no chance.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree with that. Well, I think that's been everything for this episode. So thank you very much for tuning in to every episode of this series. If you have done, or just a few, your support is always very much appreciated. As me and Alex spoke about at the top of the show, we put a lot of time into this, so it's nice to see people engaging with the content. And as I always say, if you would rather listen to our podcasts on Spotify, if you're watching this on YouTube, then you can do. And likewise, if you're listening on the Spotify, then you can always watch on the YouTube and see me and Alex laugh at each other and make faces at our predictions and opinions. And of course, go and check out the TikTok where Alex provides the news updates. A little bit of a blooper today, as he revealed on here. But that's been corrected now.
Absolute stinker. Do you know what I did? I recorded a quick announcement of O'Neill and saying, "Let me know if you think Celtic will win the league again under him. I'm going to put a poll," and I forgot to put the poll on.
Oh, it's not been a good day for the dugout TikTok, but that's a rarity. And giving Alex his credit. So please go and check that out. Go and check us out on the Twitter also. Thank you very much and goodbye.